I'm talking about straining for that logo on the side of your helmet and not the name on your back.
Yes, sir.
Because we know what it represents. It represents everybody here you see and everybody you can't that we've talked about. I'm here to strain with you, men. I swear to God, I'm here to strain with you. Let's go. Everything you got, strain with everything you got. Let's go. Bills on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bills.
You're listening to the Off Tackle with John Fina show with your host, Joe Miller. Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Off Tackle with John Fina show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Treat yourself to the most flavorful pizza on game day. Picasso's. We are Buffalo Pizza, shipping local and nationwide. Order online at picassospizza.net. Everybody, my name is Joe Miller. I'm the host of this here wonderful show. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That over there, the man of the hour. Actually, you're not this time. You're just the co-host today. But that over there is John Fina. John, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Happy to be the co-host tonight with you. 2 co-hosts, 1 special guest. 1 special guest as he cracks his beer. But before we get to the guest of honor, the reason that we're here this evening for this show, let's go ahead and real quick just get a word in from our sponsor, the Market Dominator. Everybody, John Spascheck.
Strategy, block, vision, get your vision up, balance, foot back, head up. Yeah, these are some of the strategies my good friend John Fina used to dominate on the field when he was playing for our great Buffalo football team. And these are some of the things that I use in real estate to dominate as the Market Dominator, and also the proud sponsor of the John Fina Show, hosted by Joe Miller. So if you want to win in the real estate market, it's going to be important to bring good vision so you can see what's out there, good balance of the market. Folks, strategy is critical, and this is what we do. We educate, we advocate, we negotiate, and we dominate. So if you want to win the way our football team is, you call me directly, 716-570-3298. Let's go, Buffalo!
Let's go, Bills. Everybody, as we say every single week, if you are in the market to buy a home or sell a home, please do yourself a favor. Do us a favor, me and John a favor. Call John Spascheck and the Market Dominator team at 716-570-3298. He can help you in Western New York or any place in the country. John, are you ready?
I'm ready. We already got a super chat. People are just yoked for this show.
I didn't even catch that. Mark Johnson with the super chat. I was on a different screen. Mark, thank you so much for being a part of the show. He says, "Evening fam, much love and go Bills." Mark,
go Bills, Mark Johnson.
And Mark Johnson, by the way, is the creator of the JF70 t-shirts, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're looking for a JF70 t-shirt, reach out to Mark Johnson. But we want to go ahead and bring in our special guest right now as I'm working through and switching backgrounds and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome the show to the program, Josh Allen's father, Joel Allen. Mr. Allen, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Just great. So pleased that I was able to put you in that headlock in Kansas City and tell you had to come on my podcast or I'd just be reduced to tears.
Oh, happy to do it. Happy to be here. Honored. Thank you for asking me. I appreciate that.
So what's the weather like out where you are? Because in Buffalo, it's been dreamy the last week or so.
I would say it's low 70s here. It gets a little bit cool at night, but very comfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. It's
yeah, I wish it was raining, but it's not. So.
Yeah, it's been about the same here, but it's about to change for us. Which I believe you're coming into town for this game, right? So you're coming in for the Packers game.
I am. We're coming in Friday night, having dinner with the family at Hutch's, and looking forward to a good weekend of football and friends and family. And let's go Bills.
That's awesome. Go Bills is exactly right. So let's not waste any time here, John. So let's start here. You know, the Buffalo Bills community and Bills Mafia kind of at large. I would say that we're very unique as it pertains to fan bases. And dare I say that, I feel like we can a lot of times spot a fraud early, but Josh, he just fits in so incredibly well. And truthfully, you and LaVon, your wife LaVon, do as well. It's amazing how you guys have just kind of like become a part of us. Like just you've like stitched yourselves in perfectly. What is it about Buffalo that is connected so strongly with the Allen family?
Well, first of all, I think Josh, you've probably seen the T-shirts built for Buffalo. That couldn't be any more true. He epitomizes the Buffalo hardworking, blue collar. Even though Buffalo is kind of a bigger place, it's got that small town mentality like Wyoming or Fireball or Reedley. He's always been a part of a smaller community. I think he'd be like a fish out of water if he would have been drafted by the Jets. But no, we love everything about Buffalo. We love the culture. We love the people. I mean, it's like one big family. Everywhere you go, somebody's sporting a Bill shirt, and every time we go back, it's like we're going home. I mean, it's a special place.
Yeah, it's Josh has often talked about that as far as just the size of it. Is Fireball one of those communities where they rally around the high school team a lot? Like everybody, because in Buffalo now everybody's wearing Fireball hoodies. Like everybody's wearing those now. Is that how it is in Fireball with just your guys' local football team there?
It is. Friday night, half the town's there supporting the youth team, and it's a special place. It's home. It's small. There's only 10,000 people that live here, but I think that's where Josh got his that mentality where he loves the smallness of the community, and he same thing could be said about Buffalo and just the special place that it is, and we're honored and we're privileged to be a part of Western New York, and I always look forward to going back.
Yeah, we're privileged to have you. We have our second super chat of the evening from Pamela. Pamela, thank you so much for being a part of the show. She wants to know, Joel, are you going to sing for us this evening?
Maybe to close out the show, or you never know, right? Joel, you could just burst into song in a moment.
I'm gonna be honest with you. John sings every show. The word is out. The word is definitely out. But John sings. Maybe we can get you guys to duet.
I could play second fiddle to you, Joel. That kind of leads me to a question that really wasn't on our list that we were going to ask you.
Sure.
You obviously, you just don't belt out tunes like that. So, was it your family goal? Did you raise your kids to have kind of this well-rounded approach to life with respect to athletics and obviously, the farming community? Was that a goal to open your kids' eyes to the rest of the world and just show them what else there is out there?
Absolutely. We wanted the kids obviously to be well-rounded. They were in karate, they were in piano, they were in swimming, boxing, karate. We did it all, and they had an opportunity to kind of choose what fit their personalities or what their passion was, and they were busy 24/7. We weren't parents that were going to sit around and just watch our kids play video games. If they weren't working on the farm, they were out doing something productive, and that was our goal, just to keep them busy, because as you well know, idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Yep.
And
playground. That
was our premise, and I think it worked out pretty good. So
are you still actively? I don't think anybody's ever asked Josh this question. Are you still actively? You said you're wishing it was raining. Are you still actively a farmer? Are you still vocationally a farmer? Yeah. Wow.
I am. I am. I feel like I'm starting all over again because we just ventured into a pistachio project, and it's been a fun process. But you have to wait 5 years before you see any production. But we still have small grains, cantaloupes. The water situation hasn't really been a good one here in the last couple of years, so we've kind of had to sit on the sidelines. We've had insurance policies in place that had to kick in, but we're praying for a wet winter so we can get back in the game and start doing what we love to do.
Gotcha. Well, if anybody in the comments are the praying type, then you know how to pray for California out there and the Allen family. We've got another super chat from Chuki Wookie, which is a wonderful name. Love Buffalo, flying in from Australia in November for the Browns and Vikings game. it's his second home now. I think Joel and the Allen family, obviously this is their second home as well. You talked a little bit just about Josh and them doing all kinds of stuff, your kids, and being, just doing a lot of things. When you think of Josh as a youngster, right, and you think about his dreams, and you think about, and we've all heard the stories just about how it seemed like every time he was looking to take the next step, there was a roadblock. I think one of the hardest things for me to watch was hear about was the story when he went to Derek Carr's quarterback camp, and he got put basically in the crowd of kids that were less talented, right? So he didn't get to be with kind of like the elite talents. How do you stop a dream like that? Like, what was it about Josh, and how did you stay on board just with him dreaming so big and just having such a huge appetite to reach his goal? How did you encourage that? How did you stay with that, if that makes sense?
Well, Josh, to this day, wears a bracelet on his wrist that says Nigu, which means never, ever give up. And I think that's been his premise ever since he was a little guy. I mean, he was a fiery competitor who never liked to lose. And I think when somebody challenged him or told him that he couldn't do it, as you can see on the field, he's going to try to prove you wrong. And that was what he did in every sport. I don't care if it was swimming or baseball or basketball. He wanted to be the best, and he hates to lose. And I think that's what makes him the fierce competitor that he is. I saw that at a young age, I'm going to say 4 years old. I knew he was off the charts talented. And so as a dad, you have to do everything you can to get that talent exposed by going to camps, personal trainers, and all of the above. And so I think for the most part, Josh just has that mindset, that mentality that, you prove me wrong, and I'm going to prove you right,
Love it.
How did you and LeVon kind of cope with that balance of, you keep pushing in the face of disappointment, when, doubt can creep into parents' minds? We've gone through this with our son at UCLA, where you hit those roadblocks, and as a parent, you really have to, balance the amount of push and support with a little bit of realism. I mean, did doubt ever creep into your mind and LeVon's mind as you were watching him, grow and then get a setback and then grow and get a setback? How did you manage that?
Just positive reinforcement. And I always knew that Josh was going to be a next level player. Whether it was going to be the NFL, but I knew that D1 was definitely on the horizon. Josh, a lot of, our family motto is APO, adjust, persevere, overcome. And he applies that to every situation, even to this day. But he didn't give up. He kept.
Sorry, John's taking notes.
He kept putting the emails out there, and I even called the offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes, because, believe this or not, he married a gal from Fireball. So I thought, hey, why would it hurt? I'm going to send him his huddle tape, and he never got back to me. So I guess his loss, but it worked out for the best. Wyoming was a great landing spot for him, and just love everything about the program, and go Pokes.
Yeah, it's I love already the phrases and the things that you're saying as far as adjust, persevere, overcome, the bracelet that Josh has. And my family is a family of faith as well. And, you don't have to worry and strive and seek a platform, because your gifts will make room for you. Like, there's a lot of just sayings that we kind of came up. There had to be a time, you said a second ago, you always knew that, maybe not the NFL, but you knew that Josh was bound for great things. Where was the time? When was the time? Can you tell us the story of the time when you saw something in him that others couldn't see, when it was obvious?
4 years old. He was 4-year-old kid, and his hand-eye coordination was just off the charts. And I probably coached 45 different teams that my kids were involved in. It was always a pleasure having him on my team, because he could get out there and demonstrate what to do, maybe what not to do, and I just knew that he was special. And his brother was special too. They were just gifted beyond the imagination, and they made my job easier when it was coaching. But I knew in my heart, and I think he did too, that there was going to be a place for him somewhere if somebody gave him a chance. And fortunately, Wyoming did. All he needed was a stage, and so he got that opportunity and made the most of it.
It's so good.
Tell me a little bit about your draft experience. I know, in the airport we had talked about you had taken some visits and things of that nature, but the actual moment, when you got the call and you saw the trades happening, where were you and who was with you and what kind of emotions were you going through at that time?
Oh gosh, it seemed like it was yesterday, but it was actually 5 years ago now. We were in the green room, and Coach Bowl and Jordan Palmer and Grandma and Grandpa and my wife and a couple other family members were in there, and we thought there was a chance for him to go with the Cleveland Browns #1 overall selection. So the phone kept ringing, but it was actually my brother-in-law calling my mother-in-law, and I said, "Mary, turn your phone off." It didn't happen just once, but twice, because Chris was anxious about, hey, has he been selected? Has he been drafted? But when the phone call finally came from Buffalo, and that was a surreal moment. That was something that I'll never forget. And I just remember hugging Josh and just, we did it. We did it. Now it's time to take the bull by the horns. Let's go kick some booty. And yeah, it's been just a remarkable experience. And I know a lot of dads would like to trade places with me. I don't take it for granted. Believe me, it's been a fun ride.
At what point do you turn on NFL Network and then you'll know, right? It's start turn the television on and you'll know when he gets drafted.
Yeah.
It's funny because Josh has gone from being,
that was a great day.
Yeah,
that was a great day.
Yeah, and this guy, did John tell you his draft story? Did you get that in the airport at all? John, you got to share your draft story.
You might have.
Oh, you know what? Another time, Joel. This weekend, I'll tell you. I think I told it on the show. I don't want to bore our listeners. We've got you with us. I've got my JA17 shirt on, so we'll stick with the topic at hand. I wanted. Yeah, I hope you have one of these from Del Reed in 26 shirts. I mean, this is the bomb. And if he's out. Well, he ought to do a special run for the Allen family, for God's sakes.
I'm down.
Del, are you listening, Del? So, you went from the draft, right? Okay, dream moment, the tears are flowing, the excitement, and, I'm constantly reminded on Twitter about the stable of wide receivers we had in Buffalo when Josh got there. And I, as a fan, was like, "Oh my God!" I don't have the receipts on Twitter, but I was happy when Josh was picked. I told you that in the airport. But the evolution of Josh and the staff and accumulating the talent around him, was there ever any time where his rookie year was pretty challenging, and was he frustrated, or was there just this belief, and did the communication come from leadership with the Buffalo Bills to say, be patient, we're going to build this team around you? Was there any kind of talk like that?
There was 100%. Yeah. Well, because you played in the NFL, that it's a process, and you got to crawl before you walk, and Josh knew that. And there's going to be growing pains with whatever you do. And Josh, obviously, his rookie year, everybody said it was bad. I don't think it was as bad as people portray it to be, because he played his heart out, and you could see the glimmers of hope that we all had for him. And what are we in, year 5? Yeah, it is year 5. And so the progressions that he's made have been spot on, and he's checked every box, and he's getting it, and he's playing at a high level. So, but yeah, in order to get to that level, you're going to have to go through some growing pains, and we knew that. But with the support of his friends and family, we weren't going to let him get discouraged, and he's too confident for that. Let's put it that way.
If I can help your argument about year 1 versus now, just because this is what I do, right? Podcasting. I've got 3 different shows. This is one of the ones that I get the honor and privilege to be a part of with John. But facts or things that I know that maybe the random fan doesn't know. So Josh Allen's rookie season, his wide receivers were Kelvin Benjamin, Robert Foster, Zay Jones. Drop rate for Zay Jones was 50% on 100 targets, right? His offensive linemen, of the 9 offensive linemen in front of Josh Allen his rookie season, 7 of them in his second year were not even in the NFL. And Josh Allen still produced the way that he did. And you look at Josh in his progression. And when you look at something like his accuracy rate, Josh is a down the field thrower. And now he's starting to take that underneath stuff, and like his accuracy rate's going up. People are holding onto the ball. But more importantly, to year 5, Josh is on pace this year. And obviously this is where it gets really surreal, to have potentially the greatest season a quarterback has ever had in the NFL, which is insane. But it's interesting because, you know, he's gone from being a first-round project quarterback to arguably the best quarterback in football. As a parent, how do you wrap your mind around that?
It never gets old. You know, again, he has such a big support group, and we're all 100% behind him. And we don't take it for granted, because I know as well as you do, the NFL, things can happen. You know, you want your son or anybody to have a long, lustrous career, but you can't guarantee the future. But, you know, like you said at the airport, we're living our best moment right now, and we are. And, you know, Josh is having an amazing season, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm proud of the way he conducts himself, not just on the field, but off the field. And it's just it's been an amazing experience, and I speak for the whole family that, you know, we're going to be there till the very end, and hopefully that's another 15 years. So, but yeah, very proud of him.
Right.
Well, I can tell you that he does represent exceedingly well, and I think, you know, there's always that concern, not about Josh, but when you bring players in, you know, you want them to represent the team, but the community and the city and everything. And we're really very appreciative. Honestly, we get to point to our guy, and we don't have to ignore any foibles. You know, we really feel like he's delivering on all fronts, and his availability with the fans and engagement has been outstanding with the community. We couldn't have asked for more, and we're so happy. I want to ask you a little bit. You know, I'm kind of the run game coordinator of this show. I break down the runs from time to time for our fan base. And from your perspective, and probably more importantly from Levon's perspective, you know, the philosophy of our running game, I'd like to hear your comments about that. And then when you're watching, do you get the arm grab from Levon when Josh is running an open space and he decides to vault over another guy? And then I think the dovetail question, it's a 3-part question. I'm not shy. Did somebody said in the comments, and I actually want to know this, was part of Josh's youth athletic career running hurdles? Because it ought to have been.
No, it was not. In fact, he ran very little in high school. It just kind of blossomed, and when he went to junior college, he got big, he got fast, he grew 3 inches, but I do remember he did jump somebody in Reedley College. That was like his first jump. We talked about that, but yeah, we kind of hold our breath every time he does that. And I think Coach McDermott probably frowns upon it as well, but that's what makes him a special player. That's what makes him, the other players gravitate to him, because if he's willing to do something like that, he's going to win at all costs. And that's my son. He hates to lose. But unfortunately that's part of his game. And he's going to surprise us once in a while with that. So just got to embrace it.
Yeah, there's something about the innate character of the man, and it just resonates with who we are as far as Buffalonians. And I'm a son of Buffalo, and John obviously is, you know, Bills Mafia for life, for being here for 10 years. There's just something about the culture and the nature of this town that just resonates and works so well with his story. As far as, you know, you might not think much of me right now, but you don't know anything about me, and you're about to find out. And that story parallels with Josh, like Buffalo and Josh, so well. It's almost spooky as far as how well it resonates between the two of them. Fun question, kind of as an aside. Josh is just, there's media folks and there's talent out there that talk about Josh, and people say it a lot on television, that he might be the most athletic and like talented quarterback that has ever played football. Were you an athlete growing up, Joel?
I was. I wasn't so much a football player, but I was a swimmer. In fact, my little claim to fame was when I was 9 years old, I got recognized as having the best 50-yard freestyle time in the nation. And I was good at swimming. I didn't really like it. I but that was my athletic career. But I did play basketball. I wanted to play football my senior year, but an unfortunate thing happened. I had a weightlifting accident, and I broke both my wrists, and I never went to the doctor, and so I couldn't throw a football, let alone shake your hand. And so, I mean, to this day, I mean, they don't really bend too good. I mean, they work, but I actually cut my cast off my senior year so I can play basketball and swim, and then I've had multiple surgeries. But yeah, I wanted to be a quarterback, but I couldn't quite. Josh is kind of completing that journey for me, so.
That's fantastic. I didn't mean to laugh when you said that, but story from my youth. I sprained my ankle pretty bad. My father's an orthopedic surgeon, and he put me in a cast. And I said, Dad, after about 4 weeks, I'm like, I need this cast off. And he said, no, you need 2 more weeks. I said, I need this cast off. He said, no. And I went out in the shed, and I cut it off. I got the handsaw.
Oh, wow.
And I cut my cast off. He was mad as hell, but yeah, just like
sounds
you.
like my story.
Yeah, you don't want to be restrained. Like, don't hold me back. You can't cast me for too long. Forget that.
That's funny.
It's your senior year, your last hurrah. So
yeah.
But yeah, I had aspirations of playing at the collegiate level, but I had to wear the cast for almost 2 years, and it was a kind of a long, drawn-out process. So, yeah.
Joel, did you grow up on the farm too? Was this family business that you moved into, or was this a venture of yours?
I did. Technically, I am the third-generation farmer, and yes, our family lived on the farm. We did all the chores. I mean, moving pipe and chopping cotton, and all the other things associated with our business. So it really taught us a good work ethic. And my dad was a former Marine, so you can imagine he cracked that whip quite a bit. But we tried to instill those values in our kids, but they were part of the farm. They did the moving the pipe, they drove tractors, but in the summertime they were involved in a lot of camps, and they were involved in a lot of other activities. Cal Ripken baseball was big, and fireball, and they were actually on the swim team. It was a program that I ran for 14 years, and so I wanted them to have a well-balanced athletic career and options, and so I think we accomplished that. They weren't sitting around. They were 24/7 sports, and it was so much fun. I miss those days, and I'll cherish them.
Yeah, it's funny because so much of how we're raised, and my mom is in the comments. My mom watches this show like every single week. So like literally she's telling you congratulations. This is my mom. She says, congratulations, Joel. Farming creates character.
Hi, Mom.
And what's interesting is, the way that we're raised and the way that we're brought up defines so much of who we are and how we carry things out, right? So for me, I remember being in Little League Baseball and wanting to quit. And my dad was like, no, you made a commitment. And the fact that you made a commitment means that you're going to go. Even if you don't play or whatever, or don't want to play, you're going to go because you've made a commitment to the other guys on the team. And that story goes on to my daughter. So I have my youngest daughter, Addison, was playing soccer at a very young age, and she wanted to quit. And the reason that she wanted to quit was because she didn't want to go to practice, because the practice took her away from her friends. And it was a little bit of a tiff between me and my wife, because there was like, my wife was like, if she doesn't want to play, then just, that's fine. And I was like, no, she made a commitment. Right. And what's funny is like, so I made her continue to go. I was like, you're going to go to the game. You're going to sit on the sideline, and I'll bring a bag carry, but you're going to wear your uniform. Dude, 1 quarter didn't go by, and she was like next to me because I was the coach. And she was like, Dad, I want to play. I want to go in. And she went in, scored a goal, and it was all downhill from there. But all that to kind of say this. You're talking about expectations, right? And you're talking about just things that you have ingrained into your children, not only Josh, but all of your kids, and things that were ingrained in you by your father, who was a military man, a former Marine. What are some of those overarching, if you can think of them, just expectations that were just there, whether spoken or just, assumed that they were going to follow?
Well, I think because our kids were around us so much, I coached them so much. Not so much the little things that I told them, which I always had these little quirky statements or sayings, but just my mannerisms, I guess, and how I interacted with my wife, and how we just showed and displayed a lot of emotion for each other. we developed a good family unit, a strong family unit. And that's one thing that I think you talked about legacy. That's one thing that I want to have my kids carry on with their families, because, you know, we lived out in the country, and so they didn't really have a lot of neighbors to play with. So there was that interaction 24/7 with our kids. And so they had to get along, and we did everything with them. I mean, we went to Disneyland, boating, skiing, you name it, we were there, and we were together for 18 years. But I think they got that sense of a family, and so that's why Buffalo is such a great place, because you go there and it's all family, and it's hardworking, blue collar people, like I said, and we love it. Western New York is it's a place to be.
So awesome.
You know, I got a quitter story just like yours, Joe. My dad, I told him I wanted to quit a sport. I can't remember what it was. And he said, sure, quit. Go ahead. You know, quitting is a habit. You quit this time, it'll get easier. You can quit again. It gets easier and easier. And then guess what?
Yep.
You're a quitter, you know? And I was like, damn, I'm no quitter. But battling, that's also a habit.
Dude,
you know,
your daughter is actually in the comments section, Mimi Fina, and she said, Dad. So apparently she wanted to quit soccer too.
Yes, she did.
Dad.
And Dad said the same thing Joe Miller said. Yeah. You made a commitment.
You made a commitment. That's right. That's nice that we're still out there, us dads, right? And moms too. My wife was like, you don't quit. You may not like it. You don't ever have to do it again, but you're going to finish this damn season.
Right.
Speaking of finishing the season.
Go ahead, Joel.
You know, Joel, you go ahead. I want to hear your comment.
Oh, I never really had to push my kids to want to do things, you know, as far as athletics and FFA or whatever was involved in our high school. And quitting was never really on the radar for them. They just seemed to enjoy interacting with their friends and you know, the competition, obviously. But yeah, that was never really a problem for us or children. So I guess I was lucky in that sense.
So for everyone in the comments that doesn't know, FFA is Future Farmers of America. So that's pretty damn cool. So I was kind of leading into, you know, finishing strong. And, you know, you've got a fan base here in Buffalo that has gone through a pretty painful drought with a litany of inadequate quarterbacking and some really horrific head coaching and leadership. So, you know, we can't help it. I can't help it. I was part of 2 Super Bowls, and there were 4 in a row. I think you heard about them. You know, it creeps into our mind every day. You know, we can't help it. It penetrates our skulls every day, the prospect of coming home in February as Super Bowl champions. So tell us a little bit about, how does that feel for you? Like, are you trying to like cram that down a little bit, or where is that notion in your head, Joel?
I try not to overthink it. I mean, you think about the possibilities. Of course, we're having a really good season, you know, and Coach McDermott, he preaches that every game. We're going to go 1-0 this week, and that's kind of how I approach it too. But in the back of my mind, I think we've got the team to where we can get there. And you know, I get goosebumps and I get chills thinking about being on that field. And I guarantee you, I'll be the most emotional guy there, because I'm a big baby when it comes to my children.
I don't know,
but yeah,
I'm gonna be crying too.
Super Bowl the other night. Yep, I'm a baby. But all the confetti coming down, and I was just kind of picturing myself. That would be pretty cool. That would be really cool. And it's close for us. It's Arizona, that's like a hour plane flight from Fresno. So
my dude lives in Arizona.
Yeah, it's 2 hours for me. Yeah.
It's funny because when you break that down, when you break down just the notion, and I totally get it. It's not the same thing, but I know you've got a daughter. Since I had my first daughter, I can't go to a wedding and watch the daddy-daughter dance, because literally immediately it's visions of me having that dance with my firstborn child, and it's like instant tears. So literally daddy-daughter dance, for 15 years since my daughter was born, when the daddy-daughter dance happens at any wedding, I leave, and my wife makes fun of me for it every time. All that to say this. You wait. All that to say this. When you think about it, where does your mind go when words like NFL MVP or Super Bowl champion are? And I know you said that, like, I try not to get ahead of myself, but we're inching closer and closer to those things becoming a reality. This year, of all the years, the Bills are the best team in football, period. It's got to be just amazing to, like, NFL MVP Josh Allen, Super Bowl champion potentially, right? Josh Allen. Like, where does your head go?
Oh gosh, I embrace it. Again, there's so many dads that would love to be in my shoes, and you know, we've actually talked about this when he was a little kid. You know, and he slept with a football and said, "Dad, I'm gonna win the Super Bowl one of these days." But you know, when they're 4 or 5 saying that, you're like, okay, well, that's a good dream, son. But now when it's getting close to being reality, you just you got to sit down. You got to kind of take a deep breath and, wow, this is really happening. This is a moment that could very well happen. And I get excited when I think about it. And again, I look forward to all that confetti coming down on the field and Josh raising that trophy above his head. I mean, we got to go 1-0 every week, but yeah, that's going to be a great moment if and when it comes.
But how do you temper those expectations? Like, for me, John and I talked about this when we were working through the questions, right? You know, John is a former NFL player. He's got the pedigree. So for him, with his sons, John's 6'5". He played at 305 pounds. Like, there's an expectation. My sons are going to play at the college level and my daughters are as well, which they have. And there's going to be phone calls because NFL teams and franchises love that NFL pedigree. My kids, there's none. So, like, my youngest daughter taught herself how to do backflips and tumble, and begged the world to be a gymnast. And we were like, baby, you're going to be way too tall. So, like, I had to temper her expectations. You're in my boat, right? Like there was nobody before Josh that was like doing what the things that he was dreaming of doing. How do you temper those expectations with reality?
Well, he's a diamond in the rough, and you know, he couldn't draw from my NFL experience, so I really don't have any advice for him as far as how to handle the whole journey to that. But you know, all I can do is be there to support him and just give him a hug after every game. And you know, I've been to every game, so I like to. I love football to begin with, but I love watching my son out there, and I think he gets a sense of comfort knowing that I'm in the stands and knowing that he's going to have an opportunity to talk to me after the game and vice versa. But yeah, we've got a pretty good bond, and we've always had a good bond, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the possibility, and I know he is too. But again, you got to keep working hard, and you know, hey, Green Bay Packers.
Oh, do we lose him? Oh, yeah, Green Bay. We probably need to do a couple reads, right? Is that why you're holding that up?
I gotta give the nod to our sponsors every now and again. So Joel's frozen camera was the moment. So we might as well talk about House Capital right now, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should.
I mean, Brian Belser's my guy. I'm going to see him on Sunday. I can't wait to see you, Brian. And hey, if you're looking to buy a house, everyone has a guy. You might need some work done on your roof. Everybody's, got a guy. You need a farmer? We got Joel. You need an inspection? I got someone. And when you're looking to get your financing together, Brian Belser from House Capital Corporation can be your guy. They help make the mortgage process simple, hassle-free, and understandable. As if that were possible, he gets it done anyway. At House Capital, their preferred relationships with some of the top lenders give you the edge up in getting the financing that you need. Take it to the house with House Capital. House, a registered mortgage broker in New York State, defined by financial services. All loans are arranged to third-party provides equal housing opportunity. House Capital 500 Pro State NMLS 1549644.
You're realizing right now. You're realizing right now, Joel, that we're a bunch of goofballs. This show is not about being goofballs. And we have another super chat that's actually covering up half of Joel's face now.
Yeah, sorry, Joel. Lift your head up a little higher.
So Joe, he says, if a bearded dude with an Aussie accent shoves a beer in your face, I think he's asking like, what beer would it be like that you would want? So go ahead. If somebody's going to give you a beer, what would it be?
A Foster's.
A Foster's.
I would love a Foster's.
A Foster's beer. So he says, please accept my preemptive apology. So I think he's hoping to meet you and give you one. And then he says, this is awesome.
Drink it with him. Yep.
Fireball just sounds like a country or a country like Australian township, right? Fireball sounds like it belongs in Australia that you would fit in right down there.
It does. Chuki is from just outside of Canberra, Australia, and I've been there, and I would say it reminds me of the Central California area. So Chuki, I'm going to come and I'm going to have a Tui's with you. So get ready. I want to come back to Australia. That's a hell of a trip.
Well, I think we've got to drink from a shoe or a boot, right? Isn't that the tradition? Australian tradition?
Hard pass.
Are you willing to do that, John?
It better be. It's gonna be my own damn shoe or my own damn boot because Joe Miller's feet. Oh hell no!
When have you ever seen my feet?
All I know is it's winter in Buffalo 9 months a year. You guys got shoes on all the time. It's got to be horrifying.
I wear flip-flops 7 months of the year. I don't even know.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both. I'm a flip-flop guy.
Sorry, Joel. The show is almost always like this. Joe just can't restrain himself.
Joel is my man. Flip-flop brother. So yes, that's the. So let's pause for a moment and get into some interesting stuff for me. And one of those things is Josh let it slip a couple times in some interviews that you used to do mock post-game press conferences with him. I would love to know some of because he does the presser thing so well. I would love to know just some of those questions and then how you would correct him if he answered you wrong. But yeah, go ahead, John.
Well, but first of all, did you do a radio voice when you did the interviews? Because if you did that then, you got to do it now too.
Well, sorta. I mean, I pretended like I was an ESPN analyst from the sidelines, and we didn't have a Pop Warner program in our local community, so we had to drive to Las Vegas, which is about 30 miles away, and so we had a lot of time on the way home. And so I thought, let's be productive with this. So I would ask them mock questions about how the game went and what do you think your strengths were, weaknesses, and so they would give answers and I would critique them, but I always made sure that they put their teammates first. Or I'm gonna thank the coaches for the brilliant play calling, and I got to thank my line for doing such an amazing job. And so that's kind of always made sure that he thanked everybody first. That was the end game anyway.
What were the corrections if he answered incorrectly?
Oh, Josh, Josh, we got to do this again. We got to go over this again. You're going to get it right. And so it was repetition, and it got to the point where I said, Dad, okay, do we really have to do this on the way home? I said, you're going to thank me one of these days, son. And so, but we just did it over and over and over and over again and deep down in my heart, I thought, this is going to come into play, and so I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I just felt like I had to.
It's funny because he's doing the Kyle Brandt's basement thing, which I'm sure you're watching, and it's It's obviously, as a Bills fan, it's riveting to me. And I want him to open up because it's not a traditional interview format. So I want to see a piece of just Josh in his basement on his couch talking to whoever. But he still does a very good job of answering properly, which I appreciate because I don't want to give the other team bulletin board material either.
Oh yeah.
As long as you give them the material earlier in the week, then it doesn't last all the way to Sunday. So if you give them that motivator on Monday, by the time Sunday comes, they've forgotten about it. You can't keep that fever level of anger for too long.
That's
a
good show. They do a good job, just as you guys do.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Joel. Joel, I got a question for you. In my head, I'm constantly reviewing the games that I played in, and I'm always trying to kind of cram down my crappy plays and keep a good, strong memory of the good stuff that I did. But if over the past 4 seasons, do you have plays that pop out or games that pop out to you that you'll just, you'll always say like, this is emblematic of Josh, and that memory just sticks with you, whether it's a throw or the game result or game management or anything of that nature? I know there's a lot to choose from, so
Oh yeah,
you could eat up the rest of the 15 minutes here.
I could. Oh gosh, there's so many great memories, and the play that really stands out to me, and I was there. It was his rookie season, and again, Josh doesn't get a lot of credit, but as you alluded to, the receivers weren't really the caliber of receivers that we have now. But when he jumped over Anthony Barr,
oh yeah,
and I saw the look of the Minnesota fans, and they're looking at me, and he slowly won that crowd over. I mean, that's a pretty hostile environment too, but that was a magical moment for Josh and his fan base and Buffalo. That again, they saw the willingness of him to put his body on the line and do what it took to win, and we won the game. And but that was a good moment. That was one of the better moments in my memory bank that I like to lean on. But there's been a lot of good ones.
I know you're at every game, or at least almost every game. Have you missed a game, one of his professional games yet?
2 years ago, I was 17 for 18, and all the games are played on the East Coast. And so that meant leaving Friday, coming home Monday. And the one game that I missed was my daughter had an engagement party at the house, and I always tease her about that. But we have 4 children; they all have wants and needs, and we try to spread the love. And this year, I'm 6 for 6 this year, so
nice. Well, it was leading into my next question. So, is it still father-son moment after the game, whether you're there or not, where Josh wants to talk about the game with Dad?
Not so much talk about the game, because he's kind of wanting to get football out of his mind. He wants to just kind of be, for instance, his last game, we hugged it out and good job. And then he wanted to talk about where we're going to go for dinner the following night, because because you got to give football a little break. And I know it was kind of fresh in his mind. And I really don't like to talk about the game too much with him.
Smart.
But yeah, it's always a good thing to give him a hug, whether he wins or loses. We've been on both ends of the spectrum, but you just gotta show support when you can, and just tell him that you're there and you love being there. So.
Yep. This is from Thomas DeLaus, another super chat. Thomas, thanks so much for being a part of the show. I love this question. What impact has Britt made on Josh's career? And Britt has been there. They've been dating since, is it middle school?
No, I would say his first year of college at Wyoming.
Oh, gotcha. I thought it was longer than that. Okay.
Yeah, they've been together for a while. We love Britt, and she does a really good job of managing or helping him manage and balance all his, because Josh has a lot going on off the field too. And so it takes a good woman to kind of to keep him grounded and keep him focused. And she does a really, really good job at that. And she's a wonderful person, and Josh is lucky to have her. So
it's amazing.
She's arguably the first lady of Buffalo right now.
Yes, 100%. And she takes that role very seriously. So.
Well, Joe was complaining that she doesn't follow us on Twitter, but I was like, Joe, it's okay. It's all right. I get it. I mean, she's very busy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's got a lot going on, and, they just completed their house. So they're decorating, they're getting everything situated with that. And so, she's doing a good job. I'm proud of her, because that's not easy being associated with Josh, because he's kind of a big deal there in Buffalo, I guess. So
he takes it he does so well though. Like when they go for ice cream, like you hear the stories of when they're out, and both of them are so incredibly gracious just towards the fan base. They just don't have that, I'm going to use the word rock star mentality, right? That they're just above and better than everybody else. They literally, and it goes back to one of the questions we talked about earlier, just they want to be a part of the community, which is just, I think that's why it resonates so well. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're not pretentious. They're not, it's the same old kid from Fireball, and she's from Fresno. And so they're grounded. They know where they come from. I won't let him forget where he came from, but yeah, he's just a 26-year-old boy living his childhood dream, and we're just along for the ride. And so is Buffalo and Wyoming and Fireball. He's got a lot of support out there, and but again, I'm very, very proud of him.
John, why don't you give us the read from Q42 real quick?
I'm a little teary-eyed. I don't know if I can get through it. I had memories of my mother when I got drafted. You know, she grabbed me by the wrists and she looked me in the face and she said, "I don't care if you're a Buffalo Bill. That won't last forever. You better damn well remember where you came from. And, you know, this is your family and this is the most important thing." And when you said that, those very words, you know, don't forget where you came from, I was kind of like, wow. All right, well, thinking about my mom and where I came from and how I love to eat and how I love to cook, I get the shorter and shorter reads from Iman in Q42, Joe. And he actually wanted to extend a very special offer for this incredibly special show with Joel Allen. And if you go to Q42barbecue.com for this week only and punch in the coupon code FINA Show, all capitals, this week only, you'll get double the discount.
Wow.
30% off. 30% off.
I'm there.
Yeah, Iman Aziz and I Am the Bridge and QUE42BBQ.com. FINA Show, 30% off. We love you, Iman. We love your products. Thanks so much for sponsoring our show and being here with us.
You're getting me hungry.
Well, we've got a couple more minutes left, and John is a big into cooking. My wife is big into cooking. Do you smoke foods? Do you barbecue? Do you grill? Like, what is your specialty?
I do. I have a Traeger, and then I have a Blackstone, which I really like. I cook everything on that. And my wife is a wonderful cook, and so she takes care of me. I'm well fed, and
same.
But we. Speaking of food in Buffalo, we love the restaurants there. And I don't know if you guys have been to Mother's.
Oh
yeah, on Virginia Place.
Yeah, that was my first experience there. We loved it. Yeah. So I'm open for suggestions. We're always looking to try new restaurants in Buffalo, and so
I guess this is a tough part of the show because I don't want to disparage restaurants, right? I don't want to say something and yeah. We all know how Buffalonians are and their food. So I'm guessing you've been to Mulberry, yes?
Yes, I was there 2 weeks ago with Josh after the game and the meatballs, and it was always spectacular. Yeah,
and they're not on the menu, but their chicken wings are amazing. Obviously, you've had beef on weck, I'm sure, and then I know that Josh is a big fan of Bar-Bill, so we know that you've been to Bar-Bill. What is that like going out? I know it's a silly question. I couldn't even imagine going to Mulberry with Josh.
Again, father-son moment, and I'm glad that he wants me to come along.
Right.
But it's good catching up with talked to Tre'Davious White, and there are a couple other players there that I had an opportunity to talk to. But no, it never gets old. Again, embracing this role, this job that I have as a father, and I'm pretty sure Josh likes having me around, and I like being around him, and so I always look forward to seeing him. Yeah,
super good, John.
Well, hey, what's your favorite dish at Hutch's?
Well, I've only been there a couple times, but the ribeye steak's pretty good. I'm a big meat guy. I don't know about you, but it's a great atmosphere. I mean, I like they've got some pretty good crafted cocktails there, and so it's we've got almost 30 of us going there Friday night.
Nice.
You don't want to tell people that.
I know.
Oops, there we go.
Gosh, I'll get in trouble for that one.
Hey, Joel, we used to have our maybe you know what? Does Josh ever say that they do this? So the offensive line, we used to fine each other. Like if you said something stupid, somebody would say that's $5. If you jumped off sides in practice, it was $5. In a game, if it was a 10-yard penalty, it cost you $20. You were late for a meeting. So at the end of the year, I was accumulating all this money. And then about the end of November, early December, we'd have our offensive line dinner. And we'd have like $2,300 in the kitty, and we would descend on Hutch's. And I always had to call Hutch like a week in advance and say, hey, we're coming in Thursday night. I need extra of the veal milanese. I need the ribeyes. And the guys would tell me what they wanted. We took that back room, and it was on. Every offensive lineman was 2 appetizers, 2 soups, 2 entrees or 3, 2 salads, 2 or 3 bottles of wine. It was crazy. So does the offensive line still do that? Do they still raise money off each other for their stupidity and mistakes?
I'm not sure about that, but I do know the quarterbacks get together. That's been kind of a tradition of theirs. And I want to say it's every Friday night, and they've created a special bond. So Josh has been doing that ever since he's been in Buffalo, but I'm not quite sure about the linemen. I'm sure they probably do something.
I'll have to ask Dion when he responds to my my DMs. Hey, I know we're getting long in the tooth. I don't want to. Pam did this last time, Joel. Pamela put a super chat in, and then Joe very insensitively closed the show and didn't address it. So we've got 2 that we have to address before Joe really cuts the fan base legs out.
Well, we can go a couple. If Joel is okay, we can go 2 minutes late. But yeah, so Devin C., thank you so much for being a part of the show. He wants to know if Josh got his arm strength from throwing hay bales.
Unfortunately not. We didn't grow any alfalfa. But he got his arm strength from moving a lot of irrigation pipe. Let's put it that way. The pipe probably weighed 100 pounds each, but you would need one person in each end to lift it up on the trailer. And so he did a fair amount of that. So
It's good. And if anybody has questions for Joel, feel free to throw them in the comment section now. Pamela, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Joel, can you come to the Mafia House on Sunday and be a costume judge and possibly sing haha? So before you answer that question, he's already said yes. I was going to say, you are no stranger to the Bills Mafia pregame shenanigans, to include karaoke and being around. And I know that you've made your way around both O'Neill's and Prohibition. Like, people text me, they're like, Josh's dad is at Prohibition. So
oh gosh, I heard about that one.
You're a celebrity, Joel. And I just have one question. That. Pamela, Buffalo Freddy asked me to be a judge too. So do I get to be a judge alongside Joel, or did I just get my butt kicked to the curb? I just got to have some sort of answer on that.
Well, I think you saw me in action in Kansas City, weren't you there?
Oh, yeah. But as far as judging, I got asked to judge the costume competition, but now you've been asked, and I just want to know if I got to go cry in the corner because you're – but so, they don't expect you to sing, but we would love to hear you.
Well, there will be a DJ there. There's been a DJ there the last couple of weeks. So are you familiar with where the Mafia House is, Joel?
I am not.
So literally the main entrance where the ad pro center is. So like when you turn in, and then the big giant like domed area. So the Bills Mafia House is like literally right there on the right on the fence. It's a big white house. It says Bills Mafia House inside of it.
Okay.
Yes.
The easier answer to this is Joe is going to send me a map, and then I'm going to text it to you.
And apparently the contest is from 5:30 to 6 if you're not doing anything. And just so you know, Jordan Poyer's dad hangs out with us. There's a lot of different people that hang out there with us as well. So it's a good time.
My wife is in charge of my social schedule, so I have to check with her. So
good man. Wise deferral.
That is a wise deferral. Anything else you'd like to let us know before we get you up on out of here?
No, just looking forward to Sunday. And again, I don't think we don't want to take the Packers lightly. They're going to. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, so we got to go 1-0 every week, but I think we're gonna have a big crowd. They're talking about a sellout, right?
Oh, it's always sold out, yeah. But yeah that's not gonna be a problem.
Yep.
The secondary market tickets are insane right now. Like they were talking about it on Twitter today, and as a season ticket holder, I was like, oh, like they're really expensive. And I saw them today, and I was like, that's a little, much, like higher than even I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's Bills are pretty popular right now.
The Bills are pretty popular, and that's why I've been buying. So I bought in. They've been in my family, my tickets in '76, and I bought in '97 when my grandfather couldn't go to the games anymore, and I lived through 17 years of not great football. Right for this moment, this is like I invested for this moment. So there's not much for me to let go. But it's going to be a good football game. Do you do predictions at all?
I do. I do.
I'm writing it down on my prediction sheet. There we go.
Don't go bet on it now. But I think it's going to be personally 34-17.
That's a good score.
Yeah.
That's a really good score. What about you, John?
Well, I like it. I'm going to stick with it. I like Joel. He's been good to us, and I'm gonna just steal his prediction. I like it.
I saw somebody today on one of the social media platforms, I'm not exactly sure which, and it wasn't Bills related, talking about anytime there's a double-digit underdog, and right now Aaron Rodgers is 10.5, that you bet the under, because the whole strategy is that the defender is trying to keep the other team from scoring, and like usually they don't score many points either. So I don't know that it's going to be that high scoring of an affair. But every time we've seen that, the number was like 9-2 of the times that there's been a double-digit dog this year. It was nine times, 11 times, 9 of them. Let me say that right. The under was met, and the other 2, they didn't say it, but I was for sure in my head going, they were both Bills games, like literally, because when the Bills win, they win by double digits every single time. I think this game is probably going to be more in the 28-17 range, which isn't far off from what you guys are saying, but which still beats the spread. But yeah, I'm excited to be there. I'm excited just for the environment. It's just been a great season so far. There's not a team on the schedule that really concerns me. Aaron Rodgers is always a concern, but when Aaron Rodgers is looking at his head coach at the sideline in the middle of a game and just basically mouthing, what are we doing? Like there's some issues going on there.
And is the weather going to be a factor or no?
60 degrees during the tailgate. I'm sure it'll dip into the 50s, right? Low to mid 50s during the game, but there's not supposed to be rain. Although every freaking time the Bills have a football game, including Kansas City 2 weeks ago, the wind starts blowing. I don't know why that happens to us, but are you dome or no dome? Where are you at on that before I let you go?
Personally, I like the setup they have in Arizona, where you have the option of closing.
Yep.
And or have an open air. I'm an advocate of that, but you got to face it. The quarterbacks that have had a lot of success, like Drew Brees, Dak Prescott, they have a lot of yardage every year because they're playing in a controlled environment.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize that. I don't know if you went to that New England game last year when the wind was 60 miles an hour.
I was not there. I was smart and stayed home.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of yardage in a game like that. So that's. But I think an open air stadium would probably continue to work for the fans. I mean, that's what they want. And but we're in a suite, so we're in a controlled environment. So
stop bragging.
I'm not bragging. Just Josh is fortunate to get one for us this year.
John's going to be a suite this weekend too. So
yes, I will.
Yes,
I know you will, John.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Off Tackle with John Fina show, brought to you by the Market Dominator on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Joel, this has been a treat. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show, and you guys are doing an amazing job. And hopefully I can be back on here one of these days.
Careful what you ask for, buddy.
We already talked about planning a show. What did you call it? You came up with the name, the 3 J's? Is that what it was?
The 3 J's. I like it. Well, might have to get my wife involved next time.
We will have to come up with a song, and the three of us will have to rehearse and sing that. I mean, I think we cover all the alto, soprano, Joseph soprano.
I am definitely not a soprano.
Let's sing the three of us can sing the national anthem. How's that?
I'm in.
Boy.
I'm down. I can roll the bass on the national anthem for sure.
How cool would that be?
That would be pretty wild. There's people calling for you to sing the national. Is that going to
there
happen? Drop it right here. Is that going to happen? Is Joel Allen going to sing the national anthem?
I inquired about that, but they're booked up this year, and so I guess the only opportunity I would have would be like we hosted an AFC Championship game. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, let me know who the people are that are booked. I'm Italian. I got people in Buffalo. We could take care of that for you. It'll be an opening real soon.
John, any final comments?
I'm just incredibly pleased and thankful that you joined our show and gave all of our audience the opportunity to peek into the house of Alan and the great job that you've done raising your entire family.
Thank you.
Both girls, both sons, and we all know that you're just the face of it all, and Levon is doing all the hard work. And
100%. She's my rock.
We're very appreciative of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see you at the Halloween party, right?
I'll be there.
You got your
I will
costume
be there.
picked out?
Well, I think it's right there. I'm not much of a costume guy, but
I'm not either. But I'm going to be Rip, and my wife's going to be Beth from Yellowstone.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I haven't told Joe. Do you mind if I invite him?
Sure. Come on down, Joe.
Okay. I'll tell you all about it.
All right. Let me know.
The more the merrier. You know my buddy Paul. He can't get enough of people. So
that's awesome.
Oh.
Well, thank you everybody for being, or I should say, for tuning in and for being a part of the show. Thank you all for all the super chatters, for the Market Dominator, for House Capital and Q42. Appreciate all of you. For myself, for John, for Joel. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Been a pleasure.
Go Bills.
All right. We'll see.